Okay, so we're going to talk about, so what we do with those when, like the ayat which says hand of Allah or face of Allah or something like that, right? So I'm going to talk about it quickly. Now, Ahl-Sunnah has, the madhab of Ahl-Sunnah is tanzih. As I said, tanzih is glorifying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and negating any shortcomings to Allah. So that's a position of Ahl-Sunnah. Corporeality and tajsim, which is the Wahhabis' position, is something else. So in tanzih, you have two different ways. You have tafweed, which is delegation. So basically, you delegate the meaning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, understand the gist of the ayah. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ar-Rahman ala al-Arsh istawa, what does it mean? Means that he established his authority, he controls, done, like the overall meaning of the ayah. So what does istawa mean specifically? This is, I don't know, I delegate that to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God knows best, I cannot go there. So that's tafweed. And this is basically most of the Salaf did that. Or like a great deal of Salaf, that was their position. Especially the Tabi'in and the Tabi'in. Ta'wil, which is reinterpretation of the word, the expression, in according with how the Arabs use the language. So they will say, Ar-Rahman al-Arsh istawa means, istawa here has a 18 meaning in Arabic. They will exclude the meanings that implies mushabaha, implies tajsim, corporeality to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and say the meaning is one of the other meanings. So that's basically, they are making ta'wil. Ta'wil in itself is not wrong. Ibn Abbas made ta'wil, the Sahabi, Abr al-Ummah, made a lot of ta'wils and it's basically all over the tafsir books, and it's all correct. Imam Ibn Hanbal made ta'wil. All the ulama made ta'wil. But there is a ta'wil, there are two types of ta'wil. There is a far-fetched ta'wil. These are some scholars refute and say you don't need to do that. But if the ta'wil is basically clear ta'wil, which is something that actually easy, like you're already using it and the Arabs already using it, then that ta'wil is correct. So there's no problem with it. So these basically are the madhab of Ahl-Sunnah al-Ash'ari wal-Maturidiyya. Ash'ari Maturidiyya, the madhab is tanzih. That is the madhab, glorifying Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot have shortcomings. Gariha, tool or corporeal, or like a hand or an eye or anything like that, being a part of Allah, that's deniable. So what does it mean? It's either Allahu A'lam, I don't know, I do tafweed, or I do ta'wil and also understand the meaning of the ayah, but I may like overall, but I do ta'wil like specifically to the word, especially for the awam, the lay person, so they don't go to the tajsim, which I'm going to go next to. And basically that ta'wil is also reported like all that we're saying that the ta'wil is taghut, is a shaitan, it's wrong, it's evil. That's all. Don't look at that. The Sahaba, Ibn Abbas made ta'wil, Ahmad ibn Hanbal made ta'wil, all great scholars, Salaf made ta'wil, right? But most of them did tafweed, and the reason for that is there is no clear express position for the Sahaba except from what we got from Ibn Abbas, which was ta'wil. Most of it ta'wil. And then the Salaf, but he didn't do ta'wil for every single ayah. He basically just, when he was asked about something, he would make ta'wil. The Salaf who came after that, there are still some ayahs that they don't know whether to do ta'wil or not, or what is meant. So they stopped. So that's why the Salaf position is basically, it's safer to stop. Okay, which is tafweed. But people came after that and found that, well, like scholars came after that and found that tajsim and corporeality has like spread very, very widely. So they started re-establishing and re-expressing the ta'wil as a valid way. And it is a valid way because the Sahaba did it. Ibn Abbas did it. Some Salaf did it as well. So they basically, in comparison, they said, okay, they made ta'wil in this ayah, therefore I could also do ta'wil to this ayah. Especially that people are starting to make interpretation of that word or this ayah in a corporeal way, which is incorrect. Right, so this is the position. Now, contrast that with what Wahhabi says. They affirm the literal meaning of the word. So, Yadullahi fawqa aydihim, Allah has a hand. Literally, the meaning of a hand. He has it. How? They also say the attribute, the modality of it, what it looked like, I don't know. Okay? So they delegate the modality, not the meaning. They affirm the meaning. We, as Ahl-Sunnah, we delegate the entire thing. We say, I don't know the meaning. The meaning of a jariha, of an organ, of a udw, of a tool to Allah, part of Allah, that is deniable. Right? So what it is, I don't know. Okay, so that contrast that, because they play on that a lot. They say, oh, those Asha'ira, they do ta'wil, they do ta'til to Allah, they are stopping the attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's satanic and blah, 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 and so on. But they say we affirm what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala affirmed to himself. Allah didn't affirm a hand to himself. Where did Allah affirm to hand? Where did Allah say, I have a hand? Allah said, Sami'u al-Basir, all seeing, all hearing. But Allah didn't say, I have a hand. Where did he say that? Anyway, these are, I was going to go about right. So this is one ayah about the lima khalaqtu biyadaya. I created things like lima khalaqtu. Why don't, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke to Satan, to Iblis, and said, why you don't do sujood to Adam, who I created with my hand, or my own hand, khalaqtu biyadaya, or with my hand. Astakbarta am kunta min al-'alin. All mufassirun, all kibar scholars of mufassirin, no single one said it's a part of Allah. No single one said it's the literal meaning of yad. None. They are always either, as I said, either say tafwid or ta'wil. That's what they say, or both. Okay. Athari school of the proper Ahmad ibn Hanbal way, and the most of the Athari way, saying, I do tafwid. Okay? And he accepts the ta'wil as an overall ayah, overall meaning. But he says, okay, I don't need to go to the specific meaning of the word. والماتريدي, مكي بن أبي طالب, الواحدي, ابن عطية, الفخر الرازي, العز بن عبد السلام, القرطبي, البيضاوي, النسفي, ابن جزي الكلبي, أبو حيان, أبو السعود, الشوكاني, ابن عاشور. All of them. Nobody said what the Wahhabis are saying now. All right, so I think we end here. We had a very long lesson, I guess. So let's take some questions. I don't think I have a lot of time to take a lot of all the questions. So I'm going to stop sharing screen. Oops, I stopped video instead.